I mean, even the bouzouki music, the one that you mentioned, and you know even the name, which comes from an instrument, is because it was promoted to you, but nothing else has been promoted to you. Nothing else has been promoted out of Greece except that, and that happened, you know, since the 50s, from the Nevero Sunday, which Greece, you know, had a big success in Cannes. Then all the, let's say, this kind of image, semi-touristic, whatever, semi anyway, starts to build, and then Greece became, you know, known like this. It was a like a mark. So that's why you know, and that's why we talk about it. But there are other things, very, very important, very noble, which they never had the same chance. And still today they don't have the same chance. I mean, when I touch the area of ethnic music and ancient music, I will go straight to the oldest memory which I can reach. And I'm very, very, very concerned about, not only about my country, but about every country. And to preserve the roots and this ethnic richness, because it's very, very important for each country. And I remember in Paris, very early 70s, I've been trying to convince the record companies to invest and to be interested in that type of, that area of music, the ethnic, what we call ethnic today. That was early 70s, maybe 71, 72, something like that. And of course nobody was interested, especially, you know, in talking about ethnic music in France, because of the colonies, like you have in England. They had a lot of colonies in Africa. Mm-hmm. Therefore, you know, they had access to the African folklore, which is really superb, very, very rich and extraordinary, great quality. And I've met a lot of African people, which actually they sang, you know, in an extraordinary way, something that became very, very known and create big hits during the, you know, the late 80s to the 90s. But all this period, nothing, because nobody was interested in ethnic music. I remember one of the things that I like when I work with Ridley and Blade Runner is because Ridley it wasn't against to use ethnic perfume, ethnic you know, sound to Blade Runner, and I was quite very, very happy, which I did, but nothing happened again. until late 80s, which actually the ethnic thing started, and now sometimes the ethnic became also sometimes not serious, because, you know, whatever happens every time, you know, becomes a little bit, he loses his strength, and they overdo it, and, you know, some things happen without the proper quality. But to go back to the first things we said, I believe that the strongest thing for each country is the roots and the ethnic memory, the ancient. I do it by instinct. I never sat down and say, what is the most important to do this or to do that. Came naturally to me. And when I perform and when I do those kind of things, the reaction of the people is extraordinary, because it hits, you know, to some very hidden places in their souls, maybe, and you have this extraordinary reaction. I mean, I'm talking, maybe, you know, I gave an example for my country, but I mean, every country is exactly the same thing, and they should treasure that, instead of copying, you know, the current fashion. And this current fashion also carries a lot of unnecessary, between brackets, goods.